Hello and welcome to the IoT Uplink, where we examine all the factors driving, influencing, and adding to the complexity of the Internet of Things movement, the manufacturing and product development marketplaces. My name is Geoff Mulligan. I'm the editorial director of Manufacturing.NET and Advantage Business Media's manufacturing group. I'm joined by the only man who actually can criticize the Duck Dynasty crew for shaving too infrequently, Chris Fox. He's our lead editor on Manufacturing.NET. Driving investment strategies around the Internet of Things spaces that need to make the most out of the time and resources allocated towards so many of these technology-laden projects. We look at ERP implementation, sensor integration, wireless communication, RFID, and machine-to-machine communication. It's all centered around data. How manufacturing enterprises can make the most out of that data being produced, collected, and perhaps most importantly, the way it's shared. Before we get to a leading expert that talks about how these data integration strategies can be perfected, Chris, let's go over some of the facts relating to data integration, sharing, and security.
Thanks, Jeff. According to information published by Siemens, experts say that about 6 zettabytes of data will be produced this year. That's 21 zeros with zettabytes. That's 6 trillion gigabytes. And they expect these numbers to continue to double over the next 2 years, which is just impressive. They project that about 3% of these machines generating this data are the industrial machine-to-machine variety. So we extrapolate that out of the global manufacturing landscape generating over 150 billion gigabytes of data this year. And remember, this number will at least double in the next 2 years. We also know that within the next 6 years, conservative projections placed over 60 IoT connections per US manufacturing facility. And it's also estimated that 63% of all businesses, which includes manufacturers, are currently implementing policies around BYOD. That's not BYOB, BYOD. Bring your own device as a trend that will continue to grow. So basically, more data on more devices, all feeding the need to share information throughout the manufacturing enterprise in improving production quality and empowering employees.
At this time, it's my pleasure to welcome Mike Justice to the conversation. Mike's been working with manufacturers for over 20 years with standards-based organizations like ODVA, Profibus, and he also currently serves on the board of directors for the IPSO Alliance. He is also the CEO for Grid Connect. Thanks so much for joining us today, Mike.
Good to be here.
Jumping right into it, Mike, we've got some big trends. We've got BYOD, we've got big data. They're impacting manufacturing on a number of fronts. In your experience, what have been some of the best practices for manufacturers to embrace and really stepping up to the challenge that these trends represent?
Well, I think big data is becoming more and more important as the devices on the factory floor are becoming more and more intelligent, so they're collecting more and more valuable data from them and then distilling that data using controllers and higher level computers to give the factory floor back data so that they can make quick decisions.
So in that sense then, what are some of the best ways for manufacturers to securely share all of this data?
Well, I always think of it as a similar situation to banks. They want to protect their data and they collect a lot of data, but they also want to give their users access to that data. So through various secure ways, secure fobs, secure ways you can get access to the data and limit each user to different views of the data. So I think think of it as a bank and how you access your accounts. You're also going to access factory floor data similar, because each user is going to be different in how they access their data and what data they have access to.
So data visibility on the plant floor is extremely important for a number of lean initiatives. Do you think it's necessary to be sharing this information down to the level of individual devices?
Well, it depends on the device. I think maybe to the level of a PLC or an operator interface, but you don't have to share it down to the person that's using a handheld instrument or something to scan data. So I think there's a level where it's important to provide data to improve quality or improve the manufacturability of a device, but I don't think it has to go down to everybody.
Excellent. So then, what do you feel the most pressing issues regarding that safe data sharing as we move forward?
Well, I think similar to a bank, you want to be able to provide data and you want to be able to have access to data, but you want to secure the data. So a lot of people are concerned about the security, who's seeing it, and what they're seeing. I think these days, if you're familiar with some of the banking techniques, they use fobs with rotating numbers on them. So you have to enter in your ID, your password, and the rotating number, and it changes about every minute. So that's one way of providing, that person is real and that person is valid to using what data is there. So, and also using motion sensors, like if you walk away from the computer senses the motion and logs you off automatically. So these are similar things that banks use too.
So just one follow-up, Mike, we were talking a little bit about securing data becoming a bigger trend with people bringing their personal devices, accessing enterprise information through mobile applications. What's your thoughts there in terms of mobile device use for this enterprise data on the plant floor?
Well, the bring your own device is pretty popular. You're seeing iPads everywhere. They're sort of the new operator interface for manufacturing. Rather than spending thousands and thousands of dollars to put in an industrial version of a PC, more and more people want the mobile interface. So, and an iPad or the iPad format is ideal for it. What we're seeing is a lot of the data is available on the internet, and once you've gone wireless and on the internet, it's accessible with the appropriate security via iPad or tablet.
Excellent. Mike, thanks so much. I don't know if there's any parting comments or thoughts you'd like to leave us with?
No, I think it's an exciting time in the factory, and more and more automation, more and more technology. It's just helping manage it and making it secure, and everybody wins.
Excellent. Thanks so much for joining us on the Uplink today, Mike.
Sure. Good to see you.
That's going to do it for this episode. Be sure to follow Chris and I on Twitter for updates and previews for this program, as well as for related coverage on our sites. For Chris Fox, I'm Geoff Mulligan, and this has been the IoT Uplink.